Welcome to our new series, the DIY Smart Home Guys Attempt Dumb Home Projects. We recently hired a contractor to redo our kitchen, but to save a little bit of money, I told him don't hire a plumber. When you're done with everything, I'll just hook up the sink and dishwasher and all that stuff myself. No problem, right? So today we're installing the garbage disposal underneath the sink. Now if you're nervous about plumbing, don't be. Plumbing is like a big jigsaw puzzle. You just got to get all the pieces in the right places. The only difference is if you put a piece in the wrong way, you flood your house. Normally installing a garbage disposal is a pretty straightforward job. It's a job any DIYer should be able to handle. I project this should take about 20 to 30 minutes and require these tools. Let's see how that pans out. So here's what's going on. We're installing this new garbage disposal to our new sink, and so far installing the new sink flange and then connecting the disposal to the bottom of the sink has gone very well. Start by adding a generous amount of plumber's putty to the bottom of the sink flange and push it in place. If extra putty doesn't squeeze out, you're doing it wrong. Next, add the cardboard washer, then slide the bottom flange and tightening piece around the downspout. It is held on by this little metal ring, which can be a little bit tricky to get on. It helps if someone is pushing the flange down while you attempt this. Once the ring is on, tighten the 3 screws to hold everything in place. Then hang the disposal by the tightening ring on the track you just installed. Now you can scrape off the excess putty in the sink. Finally, it's just a simple matter of connecting the disposal to the drain line. But because we installed an undermount sink to replace the overmount sink we had before, the disposal is now 2 inches lower than it was before. And that's a problem because now the disposal drain that used to be above the drain pipe is now below the drain pipe. And if you're familiar with the concept of gravity, water generally likes to flow downhill. So that gives us 2 options. We can A, lower the drain pipe in the wall, or B, convince my wife that we don't need a garbage disposal. Let's try B first. Okay, so we need to lower the drain pipe. Now this would have been a heck of a lot easier if we discovered this before they installed the new cabinets. We could have just bashed holes in the wall to our heart's content. But now we need to be a lot more careful about where we're cutting holes. So the plan is to install all of the drain pipes first to figure out what height we need our drain to enter the stack. If you've never done this type of plumbing, it's pretty easy. All of these P-trap pieces just hand screw together, so they're really easy to connect and maneuver. Fortunately, before we cut anything, I figured out that the drain doesn't go straight down. It actually runs horizontally to the drain stack over here. Now, I'd like to say this was a genius calculation on my part, but it was actually dumb luck that I drilled this hole for a different project and almost hit the pipe. So we're going to mark exactly where we want our drain pipe to hit the wall and cut a hole through the cabinet and the wall. And hopefully we're right and there's a pipe there.
Ah, the pipe there! Yes! All right, we missed by a little bit, but we can just widen this hole. And there's a pipe! Oh, life is good! I hate this.
Now we can use the T-fitting that we are inserting to measure exactly where we want to make our cuts. It's awkward and a little painful working under the sink to make these cuts, but once we have our slice of pipe removed, installing the T-fitting and connecting the rest of the pipes should be a piece of cake.
Okay, all right. We're good.
Okay, not a piece of cake. Turns out when I cut the pipe, I cracked the pipe below our cut. So lazy me really wants to just fix the crack and hope it holds, but long-term me knows that that's not going to work out and I'll have to replace a lot more later. So we're going to replace it now. Now it feels like the crack only goes about 2 inches down below our cut, and that would leave just enough room for me to cut a new hole without doing any structural damage to the cabinet. So let's hope that works, or I may have to buy a new house. By the way, if you're going to do a lot of DIY projects, these oscillating multi-tools are great. But I'd recommend spending more than $30 on one if you don't want to go deaf and burn your hands. All right, success, I think. Now we need to figure out how to fill that gap too. I think I have a solution. We're going to weld this piece onto this with another piece of pipe, and hopefully that'll be the perfect space to fit into our little section right there. So let's get this cut. For DIYers, working with ABS is not too complicated. It cuts easily without any special tools, and you just have to glue it together with this black goop. To get a good connection, sand the edges of the pipe to give it a little bevel, and clean it so it slides in nice and easy. Then take your goop applicator and generously apply it to both pieces of pipe. Then push the pieces together and hold them for about 30 seconds. And that's it! Now we can just take this piece and glue it into our wall pipe. It's the same basic process here, just you only have one shot, and if you mess it up, you're totally screwed. So be sure to dry fit everything first. Then we're just going to glue everything together piece by piece. It's pretty awkward and hard to see in here, so we'll use plenty of goop and hope we get a good enough seal that we don't get a slow leak that rots our walls. No worries.
I think we got it.
Alright, we're into the home stretch now. We just need to figure out how to cut and align this last angled piece of pipe. I'm using the very precise eyeball method with this carpenter square to figure out how long to cut our first piece of pipe. After we cut our pipe piece, we'll glue on the angled section and the P-trap adapter. The P-trap adapter allows us to slide this new piece onto the P-trap, and it gives us some flexibility to adjust and figure out the length of our final piece of pipe. Once we cut that, we'll glue it into place on both ends. Make our final adjustments of the plumbing and tighten all of the nuts. Look at that! We've got a fully plumbed disposal and sink. So we're going to let all of our connections cure overnight here, and we'll test it out tomorrow and hope it works. All right, we're back. We have waited overnight to let everything cure, and I am 80% confident this is going to work. We've got no running water right now, so I'm going to dump some water in here, and please don't leak. Please don't leak. Ha-ha! All right, we have plumbing that, at least for now, works. I'm so glad. Now the question is, was it worth it? It took me probably 4 hours, thought it was going to be a 15-minute job. Saved ourselves $1,800 from the plumber. Came real close to disaster there with that cracked pipe, but we made it work. And what's the worst that happens? We're out 4 hours and have to call the plumber anyway. So I get the water hooked up now, and we'll save that for the next video. So we'll see you next time.